enough.
Wait, Andrew, do you have children? You said you brought some girls into this world. How many kids do you have?
I have children. I have 5. I have 3 stepkids and then 2 of my own.
What are the age ranges, like youngest to oldest?
The oldest are in their 20s, and the youngest is, I don't know, like 12 or 13 or 14 or something.
How old were you when you became a dad?
I was pretty young.
How old?
I was in, I don't remember my exact age. It was like early 20s.
So DILF.
I have a few friends who've been married since like early 20s and they're now parents. But what do you think was like the biggest thing, if anything, to change for you as a man in the way that you saw women after having your first child? Did anything change? And if it did, what?
No, so I think that my opinion of women was pretty well informed up until that point. Maybe not great, but it was pretty well informed. But understanding women's nature, raising women, that's a whole different story, whole different thing. It turns out that this idea that women are perfect until a man corrupts their angelic nature is complete and total bullshit. So that's the thing that I learned more than anything quickly, is that that is not true at all, not even a little bit. And there's a lot of what she called social engineering, which tries to reinforce a narrative that women are born angelic and perfect, and only evil men, it's only after evil men corrupt their angelic nature that they do anything which is bad, and that's just not the case.
No, I would agree with you on that. I think hormones play a huge role into it. Specifically, like if you ever met a 14-year-old girl, they could probably use an exorcism. We've all been 14-year-old girls here.
Yeah, I don't think it's hormones. I have a different way that I look at it. So, well, I think that there's a superpower which is corrupting to women, especially beautiful women, and I think it would be just as corrupting to men if they had it. So, think of it as like you're an X-Men. And your mutation, your superpower is that if you're young and beautiful between the ages of, let's say, 18 and 27, basically anything you want from men, you can get. Basically anything you want. If you want a door opened, you're going to get it. If you need money, you're going to get it. If you need resources, you're going to get that. If you get in trouble, then likely your punishment's going to be much lighter. Now, it's like this great superpower, but it corrupts too at the same time, right? Because it displaces accountability. And since it displaces accountability, once that beauty fleets, women seem to have trouble taking accountability after that. They go, wait a second, it used to be that doors magically opened for me. Gifts just showed up at my house. People just gave me resources and attention. Once that fades, though, they never learned the accountability portion. And so I think that's a massive social issue. And because matrons in society have been rejected, meaning older women who are now always just looking to kind of reattach themselves to their youth instead of telling women to have good expectations, the matrons of society, which are designed to guide women through this, they're gone. They're summarily rejected. And instead, they try to hold these ridiculous beauty standards into their 60s and 70s where they look like J-Lo and this type of thing. And it's insane. So that's the big eye opener.
Yeah, I think that's
that I got.
Not directly opposed. I think it's just different than what I was saying, which is like I think women specifically when they're going through puberty for the first time, just as somebody who was a teenage girl and had other teenage friends, that there's something, I don't know, I think women are not informed enough about hormones. We're never really taught about it, how it affects you, how people after giving birth have like postpartum depression and they can literally go psychotic because of it, even after abortions too. People don't talk about this stuff.
Men have the same thing. Like
I know, but it sucks that we're not taught about it.
Yeah, this is often not thought about. But men, when they're going through puberty, right, rite of passage for men, they get ultra violent sometimes with each other, highly angry, very upset, very confused. Right? They have a hormone siege inside of their bodies as much as women do. But their accountability is not taken away. So the accountability for keeping those things in check, that's never displaced from them. It does seem like it's more displaced from women.
How is that new, though? Since the beginning of time, men have been held more accountable than women because we've expected men to be the leaders. So if you guys want to be the leaders, you should expect to be held accountable as well, more than your counterparts.
Let me tell you how silly this is. Sure, you know what? I'll concede the argument. You're right. Men should be held more accountable. The thing is, though, is if you give them more responsibility, right? If you give them more responsibility, then you're going to have to also give them the authority. And so you can't say, well, we're going to take authority away from men, which is what egalitarianism has done, and still give them the same amount of responsibility and have the expectation that you're going to have a society which isn't from top to bottom, because it is. So the thing is like, sure, hold men more accountable than women, but as long as they have the authority, right, nobody's going to say anything about it. But the second you say we're equal, well, then you need to have equal accountability.
I don't disagree at all. I love the patriarchy. I think men should lead, and us women can focus on painting our nails, making sourdough starters, being moms. I think the feminist movement is the only reason that women have to work nowadays, because of the dual income. And I think
it's not. It's not to be pampered. No, it's the opposite, right? The idea. So this is the faux idea of what the patriarchy is supposed to do, which is enable you to be a pampered princess. It's not. What the patriarchy is supposed to do is protect you so that you can fulfill your duties and responsibilities to society, and that would including reproduction and being matrons for the next generation.
I literally said be a mom and make sourdough starters. That goes hand in hand with being a traditional housewife. Makes bread for your family.
Being a pampered princess.
Have you ever made sourdough starters? If you think making a sourdough,
did you say anything about duty and responsibility? You said I
said paint your nails, make sourdough, and be a mother.
They should get Post-it notes.
Be a mother and make sourdough. If you've never made sourdough, then you don't know how hard it is to keep that thing alive. And it's part of making fresh bread for your family, making natural ingredients, meals that don't have toxic chemicals in them. I think that all goes hand in hand.
Those are making sourdough bread, stuff like this, the ingredients for it, with whatever your modern luxuries are. They're just that. They're luxuries. They're literally gifted to women by men. Modern luxuries are. Definitely women are not gifting women modern luxury. That's insane. The thing is that women have a duty and responsibility, an ethical duty and responsibility under Christian ethics to multiply, to have families, to reproduce. They have a duty under Christian ethics to raise the next generation correctly and be matrons to young women so that we don't have the problem of pornography and things like this. That's all gone. So as long as that duty is displaced from society for women, and instead all that's left is, well, I love the patriarchy as long as they give me a life of luxury. We have essentially, that's still just as regressive as the idea that, egalitarianism is bad and I would prefer the patriarchy because I get a life of luxury. They're equally bad. It's an equally bad way to view it, I think.
Well, I didn't say any of that. I think you I think that because you think you know how women think, but it's not, let's just have the patriarchy and do nothing. I'm very into traditional please. I'm very supportive of traditional relationships, especially in Judaism. That's a huge thing, and that's something I've always been raised around. And if we're talking about, you wanted to bring up Christianity, then in Judaism, there's a lot where men are the leaders, but women are actually holier. They have a higher connection to God because of their ability to bring life into this world and everything around that. So to me, if you want to say that, it's just funny that these old-fashioned, what were commodities or just basic necessities, actually, being able to make bread, you had to make your own bread, cleaning your home, women used to have to make their own cleaning supplies and be somewhat chemists. So I think now it's seen as a luxury to have that time, and thankfully society has evolved in that front, but I don't know what impression or what made you think that I think that the patriarchy means that we get to sit home all day being a mom.
Because you started with, because we can paint our nails.
It's called a joke. You don't have to be so serious 24/7. You ever heard of a joke? Yeah. I think you'd like them.
Well, sure. But have you ever heard of a criticism, right? So the thing is
it's
whether you're saying it in a joking manner or not, right? It moves to the point that I'm saying, which is that in modernity, women seem to have a massive sense of entitlement, including the ones who say, well, I'm a traditionalist. It's really? Are you? Or are you looking for somebody who can provide you for a life of luxury? That's the question. And usually when you get to the nitty-gritty of it, when you look at what modern women want, they want a life of luxury and a man who can provide it. I don't hear them really talk about their duties and responsibilities. What is your duty to society? Do you have one?
Yes.
I've said
no, hers. Yeah,
I've said maybe 50 times that I think being a mom is the best thing you could do. But this is why, and even though
you have a duty to be one.
Even though we're both conservatives, that's my ultimate goal in life. I think above any career or anything, being a mom and having a family, this is not something you have to suck out of me. I say this on my social media every day, but this is why I have a problem with, despite us both being conservatives, this is something that I think for your own sake, if you really want to have impactful messaging and continue to have people who maybe disagree. I don't disagree with you on most things, but even you, to actually listen to what you're saying. A lot of times when people on the far right, or I don't think you're far right, but I do think that on our side of the aisle, you can very clearly tell that the way you're speaking of it from a place where like you genuinely have disdain or hard feelings towards women. It's not from a place of like, I love women, they're so amazing, we need to support them, make them mothers, we need to let them, like, we need to protect women at home. You're like, what's your duty to society? That doesn't sound like a mature man at all. And like,
why do you think men's job is to kiss your ass? My job isn't to kiss your ass.
Who said kiss my ass? I said to actually want women to be mothers because we want to protect them.
I think you're disdainful to men. I think that you only care about materialism. I think that those are the values that you have, and you haven't said a word about duty. But yet, at the same time, your criticism to me is that if we even have a dispute or an argument, suddenly it's disdainful towards all women.
No.
I've raised women into the next generation. Have you? No. I've actually done it. And so the thing is like, before you make these insane criticisms about what the right should or shouldn't be, right, maybe you should learn things like, oh, I don't know, basic libertarian economics and laissez-faire, even though you have a degree in political science, which is fucking insane, right? I think, personally, that what you are is a misandrist and a covert feminist in disguise, LARPing as a conservative, because that's what most of you do.
Yeah, that makes, I think you misunderstood what I was saying. I wasn't, one, that's barbaric, but two, like I've literally been, to say that I'm an undercover feminist when I've literally gone head to head with feminists for 5 years, and all my content and everything I believe and preach about. Let me finish. How about that? Okay, let me finish talking. I think you misunderstood what I was saying. I wasn't linked. Andrew, can you shut up for 30 seconds? Let me talk.
Like the patriarchy.
Andrew, try.
Supposed to be silent.
Can somebody mute him?
Andrew, just let her finish. Andrew, just let her finish. Go ahead, Deborah.